Hey, it's Jared. Welcome back to the channel. You may have noticed that I changed the name of this YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about that while I also unbox and talk to you about my very first camera. And we're also going to talk about photography as an inspiration at the same time. So I got a camera given to me back, I think in 1986, maybe 1985, and it was this Fisher-Price camera. It's a film camera. It has zero electronics. It's about as barbaric as photography gets, but it inspired me to continuously capture images, and that led to me buying a DSLR camera in 2005 and starting my photography career. So first, the name change of this channel. Now, it originally was Ditch Auto. I put out a course a number of years ago on how to get out of automatic mode and start shooting in manual. For those of you who have taken control of your camera and switched out of automatic mode, maybe you're using manual mode or one of the manual assist modes like shutter, aperture, priority, you know that taking control of your camera allows you to get the images that you desire. The more you understand about your camera, the more you're going to be able to tell it what to do and capture the images that you want to get in the style that you're looking for. And so I created a YouTube channel as an extension of that course, and it quickly turned into much more than that. It's the YouTube channel you're watching now, this one. And so later on down the road, as struggling with whether or not this was about getting out of automatic mode anymore, or if it was about photography in general, I decided to change the name to Gear and Light, and that name just never really resonated with me too well. And I also felt like I was talking too much about the gear of photography and not so much about actual photography, getting out and shooting, inspiration, and just different things that are important as a photographer. And so that led me to change the channel to my name. I am Jared Hill. I'm a photographer. I started my professional career in late 2005 after getting a DSLR camera because I was tired of the images that people were giving me to put on their websites, because I was designing websites at the time, and I still do some of that work. So this camera, though, is the camera that my grandmother gave me back in the mid-'80s. I was a young boy. My grandmother loved taking pictures. She is not a photographer and wouldn't have ever claimed to be a photographer, but she liked capturing images. She liked being able to remember things, and so she always took a ton of photos with whatever little point-and-shoot camera that she had. Then, of course, as things went digital, she got little point-and-shoot cameras and would have one in her purse all the time and was always capturing photos of stuff. And so in the mid-'80s, when I was given one of these cameras, which this is not the original. I went on eBay and purchased this. This is actually still factory sealed, which is just crazy that this exists, but this is the camera that I was given. And so I was able to shoot photos. She always told me anytime I wanted more film or to develop my film, just to let her know, and she would develop my film and we would look at my pictures, and she wanted to pass on that love of photography to me, and it worked. She passed that on, but it wasn't until 2005 that I realized there was this whole new area of photography that was more on the professional side of things. I had always been shooting with point-and-shoot cameras. I eventually got out of film and got point-and-shoot digital cameras that were just, not that great. I remember having a cheap Olympus digital camera that I would shoot photos on for my first business. And then, of course, in 2005, getting that Canon 20D and finally learning really how a DSLR camera works. And that's, propelled me forward through all these years as I've shot weddings and events and NASCAR and other racing events, and basically almost everything I've captured at one point or another, and it's helped me become a better photographer. So I wanted to pull this camera out and just, talk about it, because it is a piece of history, and a lot of kids in the mid-'80s got this camera, and so I wanted to pull it out. I don't think, part of me wants to take some pictures with this camera, but I doubt that the film would work. And even I looked trying to find some more film online, but I don't think this film is actually produced anymore. I mean, the plastic is yellow. I don't know if you could see. It's yellow, it's discolored from age. And here's the camera right here. I love this color blue, by the way. This is just a really nice color blue. It has a little neck strap here, which I can't remember if this like disconnects. Yep, it does. It disconnects, so you know you got a big head or something, you can get it around your, I don't know. But anyways, this is how I used to wear it, just right around my neck as a little boy taking pictures, and it was a lot of fun. The back door opens up, and you put the film canister in here, and that film canister, it comes with one. I don't think they make this film anymore. And then this is how you advance the film, and then you push the button and you take a picture. So let's take a look at that film. This is 110 film, Kodacolor VR 200 ISO film, 12 exposures. Oh, developed before December of 1986. So this is long expired, and so this film likely would not work. I don't even want to open this thing of film because it's just, you know, it's sealed, and I just don't want to open it. But I am going to look and see if I could find some film for this camera. If I am able to find some film, I will for sure take pictures and I will share them on the Instagram account. And so make sure to follow Jared Hill Photo on Instagram, and I'll share some of those. This was the flash module. Now this is 2-in-1 essentially. If you look on the back here, it shows you that there are 4 exposures available here and 4 here. So after I use those 4, you disconnect this and flip it over, and you expose the other 4. This attaches right into the camera like so, and then that's your flash. And so this is very head-on flash, just right in your face flash. And I remember these things being extremely bright. Now, part of me wants to use one just to see if it'll fire off, but I also, I don't know, I want to preserve this for a little bit longer. There's also this booklet in here, instructions and all that stuff as well. Some just awesome 80s looking photos. Kind of teaches you the basics of you know, capturing a decent image as well. And so we'll just put this back in. But anyways, this was the camera that introduced me to photography. As basic and featureless as it is, it was designed for kids, and it was designed to get kids interested in photography. Now, this last weekend, my son had his last soccer game of the season. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. My oldest boy was there with me, and my second oldest boy was the one playing soccer. Now, I usually take my camera and capture some photos, but what I did this time was I brought a second camera and allowed my oldest to use the camera. Usually I just hand him the camera, he takes a couple pictures, I take it back, but this time I wanted him to have the camera and just be able to go and roam about and try to capture the images himself, making changes to the settings as needed and all of that stuff. And of course, I kind of gave him some help, and sometimes he'd come and ask me a question, and then he'd go try to shoot some images that he wanted to get. Having that kind of control and freedom to just go and capture and learn, because shooting anything, there's going to be a lot of failure, but shooting sports, there's going to be for sure a lot of failure in missed opportunities, not hitting the shutter at the right time, having the settings wrong, missing the action altogether. There's lots that can go wrong when you're shooting sports, and so it's a very humbling experience. But when you get a good image, it's a very exciting thing. And he captured a couple of images that he was very proud of, and he would race back over to me and show me the images that he captured and explain to me what was going on in that image. And I saw a light ignite there, or I saw inspiration hit as he was finding interest in photography. and finding fulfillment in capturing images. I think we all need ways to express ourselves creatively. And for those like myself that are just not good at doing that in traditional forms of art, photography is an outlet for me that I've been able to express myself through for a very long time. And I can tie that all the way back to when my grandmother gave me one of these cameras, so I had my own camera finally, instead of just taking a couple pictures with hers. Of course, I was super young at the time, but that stuck. And you may have people in your life, whether it's your own children or others, who might find photography interesting if only they had the opportunity to be exposed to it. These days, it's much easier to be exposed to photography because of smartphones and all of that stuff. But to me, I really didn't understand and take much of a liking to it until I was able to create my own images and have something of my own, so that I could do that. So back to this channel and why the name change. My photography journey really is unique, just as anybody's is. And as I dance the line between photography as a way to create and express myself, and a way to create for a living and express for other people what's taking place, there's that line in between where I have to find fulfillment in both. Sometimes I spend too much time on that business side of photography, where all I'm doing is taking pictures of other people, of events and stuff like that, and maybe they're not that exciting. The images that they need aren't, they aren't scratching my creative itch. But then on the other side, there's when I grab my camera, I get in my truck, and I go for a drive, and I chase a sunset or the autumn leaves in this season and try to capture something unique and interesting, or even just having my camera with me so that when an opportunity presents itself, I'm able to capture it. And that keeps me fulfilled so that I can enjoy both sides of the photography spectrum, business and personal, as far as a hobby goes and a creative outlet. So photography and what this channel is going to be moving forward is more about that creative expression. I'm still going to talk about gear and equipment, but I'm going to talk about gear and equipment that helps me and I believe helps other people tell stories through photo and video. And so rather than talking about a camera and its specs and comparing it to something else, which is useful if you're in the buying process and trying to choose one thing versus the other. I find that information very useful, but it doesn't get me going creatively. I'm not excited anymore about creating that kind of content. And since I don't feel like I am a media outlet and I'm covering cameras and events and all this stuff in the photography and video industry, which I have in the past, I want to move more towards photography as a creative expression and the gear that enables me to do so, and how I use that equipment. And I feel like that best suits being just my name. So Jared Hill Photo is the name of this channel, and moving forward it's going to be more integrated with my photography experience, which I think is unique and different, just as I enjoy seeing what other people share on social media and YouTube in regards to their photo and video journey as well. So I hope that you stick around. Make sure, if you haven't, click that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting, and I hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.